Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the first week of December, daily, what we can expect. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at where the planets are each day, and particularly focusing in on the moon, because the moon is the planet that changes the most daily, and how all the other planets are in relationship to the moon will give us a sense and a feel of what we can expect every day of the month. Isn't that cool? Well, I'm going to be able to do that for you. Now, another thing I love to know is where you are. So in the comments, you can tell me where you are commenting from. I'm here in Dallas, Texas, and so all the times that I'm giving you are going to be based on Central Time Zone, Central Daylight Time. So that's what I'm making reference to. Now remember, if you're in Europe, you're 7 hours behind or 6, and if you're in Australia, it's another day forward, and you can figure out what our time zone differences are. But let's get going. What I'm here to talk about right now is going to be the first week of December. So let's get going. And remember, I want to say before we go anywhere with this, that if you want to know how this is going to affect you personally, and that means with your birth chart, this is what you really want to get down and know. You can go to my Galactic Planner, sign up for it, and it will give you all of your transiting planets, how all these planets changes daily affect your chart personally. But what I'm going over right now is what's going to be happening globally and what we can expect for the world, and the sense of how the masses and the people are feeling, because that is what the moon is based on, the masses, the people. So let's get going. Let me talk about December 1st, which is a Monday. We have the moon has just entered into Aries, sometime around noontime, Central Daylight Time. So the moon in Aries just entered it. It's in the nakshatra called Ashwini. The moon in Aries is about new beginnings, fresh new starts. So you should feel like this is an fresh air that's just happened for the day, a whole new cycle going through all the 12 signs. Aries is fast and furious. Aries deals with pioneers, new beginnings, new starts. And so does the nakshatra Ashwini. Ashwini means fast movement, going through things. And you know, it's a deep day to take a deep dive into spiritual things, because Ashwini is ruled by Ketu. Now, the moon in this case, Jupiter goes forth from the moon, and actually, if you're in the market for real estate, this is a perfect day to go for it, because we have Jupiter in Cancer. It is forth from the moon, and yeah, it's a day to look for real estate and property. If you're wanting to move, this is what this day is great for. So looking at this also, we have where Mars and the Sun and Venus are in Scorpio, and they will be 8th from your moon. From the moon, and that means deep, dark things are coming to life. Uncovering secrets, things we don't know about are going to come alive and come true. Understanding the deep, dark things. Now, the moon is opposing Mercury for a few days, and this makes us kind of overthink things, but that's okay. Mercury is now no longer retrograde, so things are moving forward. This is nice. This is a Monday, so it's even the beginning of the week for a brand new way of looking at things. Now let's move it forward to December 2nd. This is Tuesday, and the moon is smack dab in the middle of Aries the whole day. So this is new beginnings, new starts. But I will say this, with it being in Aries, it's in the nakshatra called Bharani. And Bharani is like birthing new things, things that, you know, take time to birth, but when they come out, things are different. Things change today. You're going to feel like today is some new births for you, things coming about. Now, Jupiter is still fourth from the moon, so it's great time to be looking for property or even changing the appearance of your own home, maybe buying some things for the house like decorating or anything like that. So this is a nice, good day for new beginnings still. I'm looking at that and uncovering a lot of things that you didn't know about, but this can be healing. This can be truly healing as the moon is in Aries, but all these planets, Venus, Sun, and Mars, are in the 8th house from the moon, dealing with going to the core, doing research, finding things you've been looking for. That's what this is good for. Now I'm looking at December 3rd, which is a Wednesday, and the moon has shifted into Taurus today around noontime Central Time. And as it's in Taurus, Taurus is the sign that deals with sensuality, you know, feeling things on a deep level, appreciating nature, appreciating the beauty and the arts in the world. That's what Taurus is all about. But the moon is in Kritika, and Kritika is the nakshatra that deals with sharp things, getting to the bottom of things, taking no, you know what from people. So it's like getting to the answers, you know, cut to the chase. And the moon will cross over Uranus this day, probably, you know, close to getting more towards the early evening time. And during that time, you're going to find things change abruptly and suddenly. There's like crazy things that are going on, and that needs to be looked at. Okay, so then I'm looking at Jupiter in the 3rd house from the moon. It's a great deal. It's a great time to learn, to educate yourself, to read, to get out there and communicate more with people, or even take some visits with siblings if you have any. You know, just call them, communicate, connect. And I do find that Venus is opposed the moon today. This is a great time for love, romance, looking to find a partner if that's what you're searching for meaning for. But this will be a day that's very changeable, and things will happen abruptly with the moon being in Kritika. And looking at K2 will be in the 4th house, so there's something about feeling displaced with your home or your family. But you might be asked to work a little longer with Rahu being in the 10th house from the moon. So now I'm looking at December 4th. This is a Thursday, and the moon is still in Taurus the whole day, but now it's in the nakshatra called Rohini, which is the sensual one, which deals with appreciation for beauty and the finer luxury things in life. So it could be a good day to go shopping with the moon in Rohini, but it's a day that you will appreciate good food, good quality things in life, specialty things. This is, you know, expanding our sensuality to things. Even, you know, this requires taste in our taste buds, you know, food. But this day is the full moon, most importantly. So we've got this full moon in Rohini, which really expands our quest for quality and the finer things of life. And with this moon, it is opposed Mars and Venus. This is a day of finding love or romance, passion, things of this nature. Mars is in Scorpio during this time, which is our passion, our desires. It really hypes it up to a new level. Jupiter's in the 3rd, so you're learning new things, you're communicating well. It's a good day for a lot of things. Bringing things to fruition when it is a full moon is what it's all about. It lights up the darkness of the sky, the full moon. So this is a lovely full moon because this moon is aspecting both Mars and Venus, which deals with passion, which deals with love, which deals with romance. Be aware, though, it might be a time that things are going haywire in your workplace. I feel like you're going to be working more, but it's okay because you enjoy it. Now I'm looking at Friday, December 5th. And this is going to be where the moon goes into Gemini. And it will go into Gemini, around maybe 10 or so Central Time, 10 a.m. Central Time, give or take, around that time, an hour or so. And when it does, my goodness, it's going to be approaching Jupiter. And this is the day that Jupiter comes back into Gemini from Cancer. So there's going to be a change of energy. And I think people are going to be more apt to communicate more, to listen to things more, just open their minds, and everything to do with a new level of communication, if I could say that. And with this, Mars, Sun, Venus are in the 6th house from the moon. So the 6th house deals specifically with your work. You'll find you're very busy with work or dealing with people at work. And maybe you'll become more health conscious around this time, looking into supplements or diet, exercise, things that make you feel stronger and healthier. That's what this can deal with. The moon is in the nakshatra called Mrigashira, which means a search. So you're searching for answers, searching for things, or maybe just shopping. This deals with a search for things, and it is where you will find things as well. Now, since Saturn has gone to the 10th house from the moon, you might find that work becomes more heavy, like you have more responsibilities around the workplace. And yes, you're working a lot with all these 6th house planets from the moon. And I also noticed that the sun this day sits right at the midpoint of Rahu and Ketu. So this could be a day of crazy things happening politically, especially for political rulers around the world, or something to do with politics, and or maybe things breaking out more so with a warlike intensity, because the sun does deal with leaders, and leaders will be under pressure during this time. Yes, they will. Now I'm looking at December 6th. This is a Saturday, and the moon is approaching Jupiter. It's in Gemini the whole day, but it is in the nakshatra called Ardra. Ardra's symbol is a teardrop. So do be aware that there's something about this day that's sad, can cause sadness in our hearts, in our minds. Be aware of that. And I do see where all of these planets in Scorpio are very, very intense. I'll tell you why. Especially Mars. For the past few days, Mars is intensifying in energy, especially today, because it is 29 degrees of Scorpio. And that's Gandanta. I've told you guys so many times what Gandanta means. It means out of control. It actually literally means a knot, meaning things are difficult. They're not, moving along smoothly. There's a obstacle, but it deals with out of control behavior in the world, emotional things going on, because it is in Scorpio. Intense, emotional. Mars is in the last degree of Scorpio, which is where the stinger is. Be aware that people will be jealous, will be vengeful, there will be problems. And this will go for really around the 4th, December 4th through about the 8th, because, Mars will be in the last degree of, around the last degrees of Scorpio. Gandanta is actually when planets are in the last degree of a water sign or the initial first degrees of a fire sign. So it's there for, you know, probably till about the 10th of December. But I think this day and the next day are the most critical. And remember, Gandanta is associated with drowning, which can mean losing control, and or literal drowning. There could be floods and bad weather. Okay, let's take it to December 7th. This is a Sunday. And with this day, we have got, well, the thing that's really going on that's very interesting is that Mercury is around 1 degree of Pisces. And even the day before, it was trining Jupiter. Today it's trining Saturn. So it's right there where I know Jupiter sits at 29 degrees, but it's still in a trinal aspect to Mercury, to Jupiter, and Saturn. So this is a very productive day. Very, very productive. But I find that today, December 7th, is going to be where Mars actually does go into Sagittarius. So it's finished with Scorpio. It's in Sag, which deals with finding truth, facts and truth. That's what this day's beginning. And Mars has just entered into the nakshatra called Mula, which can be very destructive. It is ruled by the goddess Nariti, god of destruction. So you're going to find that things dealing with fact-finding, truth-finding can be very destructive. A lot is going on. Yes, it is during this time based on where Mars is. And Mars is now approaching an opposition, it's got a ways to go though, to Jupiter. So a lot is going to be happening with finding the truth and dealing with justice. That's what Sagittarius is all about, finding justice. So I'm going to say all the way into January, there's going to be things finding great justice. And I was just confirmed with that ding. So we're going to find people are really over the top. Now, one thing I got to tell you about this Sunday, December 7th, is that the moon enters into Cancer this day. So it leaves Gemini and it's in Cancer, but it is in the nakshatra called Purnavasu, which is the nakshatra that deals with return of the light. So good things are happening. The moon is strong in the sign of Cancer. Love the nakshatra. But Jupiter goes 12th from the moon, meaning a lot of past things will come up for you to heal. But it's good, it's healing, it's positive. You're feeling a time of rest and just recuperating from things on this day. So this wraps up the first week of December. Stay posted because I'm going to give you a lot of information for the second week of December. And now we're getting close to the holiday season. But you know what I forgot to tell you? Going back to Saturday, December 6th. That's the day I'm going to give my world predictions the whole day. You're not going to want to miss that. So join me, go to galacticcenter.org and you can sign up to take my world predictions class. It's 6 hours. Tell you everything about the year coming up for 2026. So with that, I think I'll close. Go to galacticcenter.org and you'll see it there. So thank you for the first week, but get ready for the second week of December. Thank you.